proceed.
Please.
Would you tell us your name, please?
My name is Huy Nguyen. That's Huynguen.
And what do you do for a living, sir?
I'm currently a special agent with the FBI in San Antonio.
How long have you been with the San Antonio FBI office?
I got to the San Antonio division in 2012.
And what do you do for the FBI?
I'm a human agent. What I do is I go out and collect informants. But one of my auxiliary duties is also evidence response team.
And would you tell us what an evidence response team is?
The evidence response team is a crime scene team, right? We go out and we process crime scene, collect evidence, take photographs, write reports, and present it to juries and law enforcement.
And prior to working for the FBI, could you tell us what your background was?
I worked for 10 years with the Texas DPS Crime Laboratory as a DNA analyst. Then from there, I went to the FBI in 2004.
And what is a DPS analyst with the FBI? I mean, with the DPS, excuse me.
So there's several different types of forensic scientists with the DPS Crime Lab. Some do drug analysis, some do alcohol analysis. I did DNA analysis, meaning I worked with body fluids to determine the origin and match them to suspects or victims. When you
started working as the evidence collection team, is there any special training that goes along with that, or is it all experience?
It's a combination of both, right? You get certified in the beginning. For the FBI, there's a 2-week course close to Quantico, Virginia. You go there and you learn all the basics of forensics, crime scene reconstruction.
And could you also tell us about your familiarity with firearms and ammunition?
Well, I'm currently a special agent, so I do carry a firearm. I've been trained in the use of firearms.
And as far as ammunition at a crime scene, what kind of parts of ammunition is important to you as you collect evidence at a crime scene?
Well, when you go to a crime scene, you look for anything that's, maybe shouldn't be there or is pertinent to the scene. So in this instance, regarding the question, spent casings, right? When a bullet gets fired, the casing is left behind. The casing could have evidence on there that could identify the gun. If the bullet that gets shot could be used to identify also what type of ammunition was used. So all this evidence can be linked together and provide like a profile of what happened.
And just generally, how is ammunition classified, or bullets, casings, cartridges? You said you can identify. Can you identify it by caliber?
Oh, sure. So they come in different sizes, right? The calibers. You can identify them by it's mainly the caliber, how powerful the weapon would be, whether or not you can fire it from a pistol or a rifle. Just the marks that are left on the casing after it's fired, whether it's a rim fire or center fired. So there's different characteristics you can look at with ammunition.
And also, do the manufacturers of those casings, do they attach their symbols or emblems to the casings?
Typically, yes, around the rim of the casing.
Okay. So that can also tell you whether or not a similar round has been fired multiple times as opposed to different types of ammunition. Is that correct?
Well, if you see a bunch of casings on the ground at a crime scene, you can probably link them together by the manufacturer. Sometimes they have a number on it, which also corresponds to could be the year that it was manufactured. So you can take a look and see if the rounds are similar that way.
And based on your work, are you familiar generally with the difference between a rifle casing and a pistol casing?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, the size of it.
By size alone. And describe for us the difference in the sizes.
Well, if you take a pistol, like a handgun, it's the casings the bullets are much smaller, right? And they could be wider. The rifle rounds, depending on the caliber, are typically longer and more narrow than a pistol round.
And tell me, there's been a little bit of discussion about when you find a casing, is there any scientific specificity as to when you find a casing that tells you where the shooter is.
Oh, so, okay, so you're asking where I find the casing, could I tell where a shooter could possibly be? Is that the
Yes.
question? So when if a round is fired, if from a semi-automatic, right, a gun that will automatically eject the casing. So when somebody shoots a gun, the bullet will be propelled out of the gun, correct? The casing is left behind. The casing is what holds the gunpowder, okay? The casing will get ejected out and get tossed, depending on the gun, depending on how much gunpowder is in it, it'll get tossed a certain distance away. So typically, when you see a casing on the ground, you can sort of guess as to how far away a shooter could be from that.
But there's a lot of things that affect being specific about that. Is that correct?
Sure, if you hit if a casing hits the grass, it's not going to roll anywhere. If it hits concrete, it can bounce. It could roll away. If it's on a gradient, it could roll down. So a lot of things, you got to factor the whole condition of the scene.
Fair enough. Does the position of the gun when the casing is ejected, does that also affect where the casing would end up?
The position of the gun.
How the gun is being held, I suppose is a better way to say it.
Well, the ejection port on a gun is usually on the right-hand side of the gun, right? So if you hold a gun here, the casing is going to get ejected to the right. So how the gun is held, I guess if you mean if it's pointed up or pointed forward.
Let me kind of demonstrate. So
Okay.
if you point the normal gun straight ahead, the ejection usually is to the right.
Yes.
Since I'm left-handed, that means it comes to my face, right?
Well, it'll come away to the right, not at your face.
But by the same token, if you turn the gun down, would that affect where the gun was in comparison to where the casing ends up?
Okay, so if you shoot with the gun sideways, so the ejection port is pointed down, that's where the casing is going to get ejected. It's not going to go as far if it was pointed with the ejection port going this way, right? It would go out, pointed down, it would go down.
And by the same token, if the ejection point is pointed more up, that's going to change the trajectory too.
How far the casing would go?
Yes.
Possibly, yes.
Okay. And so as far as being very specific, do you believe we can be very specific about where a casing lands as to where the gun was fired that left that casing?
I wouldn't say specific. I'd say more generally you would know where the shooter would probably be at, but I don't think you can say with a definite degree, oh, he has to be standing right here.
And if you have a grouping of casings in a specific point, that assists too, I suppose.
Yeah, a grouping of casings in the same area together gives you a better idea rather than just one casing, okay? Because there's multiple shots being fired and they all land in the same spot. Well, typically the shooter would be around that radius, or, distance around that, the casings.
And I want to move to the second stage then, after the casing is originally deposited.
Mm-hmm.
Are there things that affect its movement thereafter?
Well, like I said, if you're on a gradient, it could roll down. If it's on grass, it's going to stay right there because, the grass is going to keep it from rolling. If somebody comes along and kicks it, so there could be other factors that could have influenced where it could be by the time we get there to see it.
Okay. And so if it's a high trafficked area, then that could also affect where the casing started versus where it was when you picked it up.
Yeah, the time between when it was shot and the time that when we get there, anything that goes through that scene could change how that scene is.
And did you investigate a scene on or about May 24th, 2022?
We did.
And what scene was that?
It was at Robb Elementary in Uvalde.
And how did you get involved in that investigation?
I was actually in San Antonio at the time, and I was the acting team leader for our team. Got a phone call saying, hey, our assistance is being requested to go out to Uvalde to process a scene.
And did you do that?
Yes.
And when did you get there?
By the time we mobilized, let's see, this is approximate. It takes about, an hour and 15, depending on how fast you drive, from San Antonio to Uvalde. So we probably got there closer to around 2 o'clock, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a few years.
And can you describe the scene as just in general terms when you got there?
Lots of police cars, lots of activity. We're trying to figure out where to go. First, we were told to go to the hospital to pick up evidence from victims there, and then plans changed, and we were told to head to the elementary school, and that's where we went. And then we, tried to figure out where do we begin? What are our taskings? What is being asked of us, right? So we were being asked to support the Texas Rangers, and we were asked to process the outside of the school.
And did you do that?
Yes.
Would you tell us how you did it?
Well, it's a pretty large property, the school with the grounds of the school. So what we did was we have to take photographs first, right? Before we start anything, we take photographs of the general scene. In order to start looking for evidence, because we were looking for casings, right? We knew the general idea of what happened. So our main focus was, okay, let's find the casings. We knew where there was this truck on the far side of the school. So we started from there, did a line search. And what that means is you stretch out in a line. We get all your personnel in a line, and you slowly walk together, and everybody's looking down to the ground to see if they can find any evidence. And if you find anything, you place a flag there so that we can come back to it later. Before we pick up any evidence, we take a picture of it in place so we know what it looks like. And we take it like medium range, long range, close up. So we have an idea of where the evidence is in relation to the rest of the scene, right? So there's a lot of documentation before we actually pick up the evidence.
But as far as the flags and the photographs, that accurately depicts where y'all saw it at the time or before it was picked up.
Yes.
You can't tell us what happened to it if it was kicked or moved around beforehand, but as far as the photographs, they're going to accurately tell us where you located them. Is that correct?
The flags indicate exactly where we saw it when we got there at that time.
Okay. May I approach for a second, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Could you step?
Okay.
I'll give you just a second to orient the ditch that you were talking about, where the truck was. Robb Elementary School, the fourth grade lanes, south grounds, and the west grounds.
Okay.
Do you recall that scene?
Yes.
Okay. As we use this pointer, and we do have the jurors put it all the way across, so that's why I have the pointer, so maybe you can scoot over just a touch from it. Could you show the jury what area you conducted the line searches?
Okay. So when we arrived, this is the funeral home across the street. We parked our vehicles here. And then the subject vehicle is over here to the west of the school. So we started our line search from over here and walked slowly towards the school. And anytime we saw any rounds or any casings or any other evidence, we put a flag there to mark it so we'd come back later and take more detailed photographs of it. And we slowly made our way through the school. We also line searched all this area too and around here.
So the line search was the west side of the school,
Yes, and also out here too.
the north side, or the northwest side of the school,
Yes,
the south side of the school, at
Yes.
least above this pavilion,
yes,
as well as you looked on the east side of this fourth grade wing.
yes,
And that was all conducted with line search.
yes.
Did you find any casings on the east side of the building?
No, we did not.
Okay. And so your testimony is going to be concerning what you saw on the west side and the south side, is that correct?
Yes, around here and around here. We did find some evidence. I think there was a round right over here. And then we also found something over here.
And were those fired or unfired?
Those are actual bullets, so the bullet was still on the casing, so it wasn't fired.
So those were two that were unfired?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
And did you have a chance to review the photographs that your team took as part of this crime scene investigation?
Yes.
And as you looked at them, was it a fair and accurate representation of the crime scene that you conducted?
Yes.
Pretender States Exhibits 85 through 149 to the defense.
What numbers are these again?
85 through 149. Just take a second to load up. This may assist you if you're going through this.
Okay.
Okay, could we start with Exhibit 85? Can you explain to us what we're looking at here?
This is the west side of the elementary school.
Okay, and at the very top of the photograph, Exhibit 85, is that the south side of the building?
Yes.
And toward that top side of the building, y'all did the line search across there, is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you this time not what you found, but what you didn't find. Did you find any casings of a pistol on the south side of the building?
No.
And there was a thorough search?
Yes. We did it multiple times.
Thank you. And States Exhibit 86. Could you tell us what we're looking at here?
The same west side of the building.
And if we will, would you approach the TV and show us on the north or the top right-hand corner, if you see any vehicles, the very top right-hand corner?
Oh, this one right here?
Yes, sir. Is there a vehicle over there?
Yes.
White in color?
Yes.
Did you search all the way to that vehicle
Yes.
and all the way from that vehicle back through the parking lot?
Yes.
And were there any pistol or handgun casings found in that location?
No.
Thank you. State's Exhibit 87, do you know who Kirby Howell is?
Yes.
And would you tell the jury who he is?
She is our
She, I'm
photographer.
sorry?
Yes.
She's your photographer?
Yes, our
And
full-time FBI photographer in San Antonio.
So does this document that these are the photographs that she took?
That's correct.
State's Exhibit 88, could you tell us in general terms where we're looking now?
This is the west side of the school building.
And is there anything specific there as far as red flags that you have marked?
Red flags denote anything that we believe was evidence, and you can also see a backpack there.
And when photographs are taken, are they taken in a series? By that I mean, do you start wide and then get closer to close-ups in general terms?
So typically, yes, when we see evidence, we take a long-range shot, so we see where it is in relation to the rest of the scene. We do a medium-range shot to get a better look at it in relation to the rest of the scene, and then we do a close-up shot to see what it actually looks like before we pick it up.
Okay. So with Exhibit 88, could you tell us where the photographer is standing and what direction they're looking?
The wall, if you're looking at the wall, that's the west side of the school building. So she's standing looking at the west side of the school building.
And that whole west walkway or that whole area there is fairly unobstructed, is that correct?
Unobstructed as in
I mean, there's
obstacles?
no trees? Or
No, you're correct, yes.
It's a wide open space
Yes,
until you get down to the very end?
yes,
Okay. And do you see any of y'all's red flags there?
yes.
Would you point those out?
You see one right here, there's one right there, there, and there.
Okay. Thank you. And State's Exhibit 89.
Yes.
Would you tell us what we're looking at there?
This is a more medium range shot, so now you see a little more detail. There's a backpack, there's a number 1 placard. So when we do our search, we find what we believe it's evidence, we put a flag to note the location. When we come back later, we start assigning evidence item numbers to it to differentiate it from everything else. So in this particular instance, the number 1 was assigned to the backpack.
And that, how do you decide which number gets what piece of evidence?
It's sequential. As we go along, as we see, and we start documenting each item, we lay the numbers down in sequence.
And to be clear on sequence, we're not talking about when a shot was fired. We're talking about as a sequence when y'all found the casing.
It's not when we find the casing, it's when we start picking up the casing or the evidence. Because as we're doing the search, we could find a whole bunch of evidence and we start placing the flags. As soon as we start collecting, the first item we collect gets the number 1, and everything after that is in sequence.
Okay. And State's Exhibit number 90. Could you tell us about that exhibit?
It's the same shot except a little bit closer.
And what are we looking at as Exhibit 1?
It's a backpack.
And in general terms, what was the condition of the backpack?
It was on the ground open with the pockets open.
State's Exhibit 91.
Okay.
Would you describe State's Exhibit 91?
You see the backpack is open, but you also see. Can I get up?
Yes, sir, please.
There's also a magazine with. You can see a bullet at the top of the magazine.
Thank you. And State's Exhibit 92.
This is. Oh,
Go ahead.
I apologize. So this is inside the interior of the backpack, so you can see additional magazines with bullets in them.
So in general terms, this backpack was full of magazines with bullets in them?
That's correct.
And Exhibit 93.
Okay.
Would you tell us about that?
So now we're moving on to the next item of evidence. So you see a number 2 marker, and that's what we collected after that backpack.
And as we close up on it, does that show you what the marker is marking?
Yes.
And what was that marker marking?
There's a casing there.
And State's Exhibit 95, does that show a close-up of that casing?
Yes.
Turning next to Exhibit 96, is that once again one of these kind of wider views so we can tell where the casings are located?
Yes.
And would you tell us what exhibit numbers are depicted in State's Exhibit 96?
In this particular photo, mind you, this is again the west wall. and you see 3, 4, and 5.
Okay. And just to make sure, I think you've made it clear, but the fact that a casing may be labeled 3, another one 4, you're not trying to tell us what order those casings were fired in, are you?
That's correct. That's not the order, it's the order in which we pick it up.
In other words, 3 could be deposited first or before 5, or 5 could be deposited before 3.
We don't know when the items were deposited.
Okay. And the last question I'll have generally about casings being deposited, that is at a specific point in time, is that correct? That the casing could have been deposited there?
Yes.
So that where the gun was 5 seconds before or 5 seconds after, you can't tell from looking at the placement of a casing.
No.
That is, a gunman could move from left to right, right to left, or up to down, down to up. Is that correct?
Yeah, we can't make any inference like that.
At some point, we have to also listen to eyewitnesses or witnesses to the account. Is that correct?
Sure, take everything into account.
Thank you. And so Exhibit 97.
This is a closer view of that, of those 3 items that we saw in the last picture.
And this is consistent with how you photograph each of these exhibits, correct?
Yes.
Show generally where it's located and then close in.
Yes.
Thank you. Stakes Exhibit 98. Can you tell us what that is?
That's another rifle round.
And States Exhibit 99,
An additional rifle round?
and it's labeled as intent number 4. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Evidence item number 4.
States Exhibit 100.
That's evidence item number 5, another rifle round.
And would you
A
kind of
casing.
point out where that casing is? And just in general terms, the casing that we're looking at, is that consistent with the other casings that you picked up to this point?
Yes.
And how are those casings all inconsistent with a handgun round?
They're longer and more narrow.
So it's obvious to see from an investigator.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 101. Could you tell us what that exhibit is?
That's another view. That's the west side. Can I get up one?
Yes, please do.
This is still the west side of the building, and this is the walkway going up to the parking lot.
And there are flags and tents, markers there for evidence, is that correct?
Yes.
Would you point those out?
See one here, you see one there, see one there, one here.
And in addition to that, before you sit down, do you see that a black car parked in the same place we saw earlier?
This one right here?
Okay, thank you. Exhibit 102. Would you describe that for us?
That's evidence item number 6. There's a flag marking where it's at, and it's about to be picked up because that's when it got its number.
And just to be clear, that's on the southwest side of the 4th grade wing.
Yes.
State's Exhibit 103.
This is a close-up shot of it. The casing, you can see a casing.
And I think we can close up a little closer, maybe. Could you point out then where that casing is?
Right here.
And let me just interject here. Of all these, so I don't have to keep asking, are all of these casings that you picked up then on the south and the west side, were they all the same type of casing?
The casings, yes.
Now, there were unfired cartridges, is that correct?
There was 2, I believe.
And they were not the same as these fired casings, is that correct?
That's correct.
But all of the fired casings were, in general terms, the same
Yes.
casings? Thank you. And we just looked at marker number 6, and so I'm going to keep up with that numbering system. Would you tell us what Exhibit 105 is?
It's a black glove.
Okay. And did you know the significance of that at the time?
No, it just stood out because it was in the parking lot. by itself like that. So, we don't know what the importance of it is, but it stood out, so we marked it and we collected it.
And it's not your job to determine if it belonged to the gunman or a police officer, is that correct?
That's correct.
State's Exhibit 106 is just a close-up of that.
That's correct.
And State's Exhibit 107. Could you tell us what we're looking at here, the general area we're looking at?
That's a southwest corner of that parking lot that faces the west side of the building. And you see some flags marking where some casings were found, and then you also see the number cards so that we're about to pick up those casings.
May I approach you? Just to be, I just want to make sure because it's not quite wide enough for us to know exactly where we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just hold this up. And could you show us, if this is once again is the Robb Elementary 4th grade in the parking lot, could you show us where those?
So this is the parking lot right on the west side of the building. Most of our attention was over here where we collected most of our evidence. And in this particular last shot, the evidence was around here.
Right here, kind of where there's this elbow in the parking lot.
Yeah, you'll be able to see the corner right here.
We can see the elbow.
Yes,
So some casings are behind the elbow and some are in front of that elbow.
correct.
Excuse me?
Did you say something?
He objected to leading, I sustained it.
Oh, I'm
Proceed.
sorry. Excuse me, Jeff.
And I'll ask you if then the photographer zeroed in, closed in on these casings.
Yes,
So showing you State's Exhibit 108,
that's evidence item number 8.
similar casing.
Yes,
And State's Exhibit 109,
you can see where item number 9 and item number 10 are in relation to each other.
and State's Exhibit 110,
That's another casing, item number 9.
and 111.
An additional casing, number 10.
And would you tell us, describe for us what Exhibit 112 is?
This is a photograph of the same parking lot and the grass bordering the parking lot and additional rounds that were found, casings that were found there.
And those the white vehicle, is it there?
You can see, can I point it?
Yes, sir, please point those out. And is there a second vehicle there also?
Yes.
Would you point that out too? Thank you. So closing in now, State's Exhibit 113,
That's a casing.
and State's Exhibit 114,
And another casing.
as marker number 12.
Yes, casing.
State's Exhibit 115,
And another casing that we found.
marker number 13,
Yes.
and State's Exhibit 116, does that close in on that casing?
Yes.
Okay, taking you to a new area then, that is not on the west side, is that correct?
This is actually on the north side.
Okay. And that has the next number, Exhibit number 14, is that correct?
Our evidence item number 14.
Evidence
Yes.
number 14. Does that indicate that that's when y'all found that one?
No, it just meant that that's the next item in line that we were collecting.
Okay. And closing in on Exhibit 14,
You can see that's an entire bullet. This hasn't been fired yet.
and closing in on it.
It's a close-up shot.
And is the casing, could you describe that and any differences that there may be between that and the other casings that you found?
This one's actually black, and it also has the bullet that's still attached at the front.
And State's Exhibit 120.
This is item number 15. This is in the northwest corner across the street from the school at the funeral home.
And closing in on that, Exhibit 121.
You can see that's a bullet also. There's a casing with a bullet attached to the front, so.
And it's a little difficult to see. Would you kind of point that out for us? Both the cartridge and the bullet part.
So here's the casing, and you can see right here, that's the bullet part.
And that was evidence marker 15, is that correct?
That's correct.
Returning now to the west side, showing you State's Exhibit 122, would you describe what we're looking at here?
You can see two more flags showing that there's two more pieces of evidence that need to be collected.
And State's Exhibit number 123.
That's evidence item number 16, a casing.
And 124.
That's evidence item number 17, another casing.
And Exhibit 125.
Additional casings that were found, so we marked them again with flags and also with the number cards.
And as in relationship to the building, what part of the building are we looking at there?
This is the western side of the building. The air conditioning, those 6 units are on the south side.
So it's the southwest corner.
Yes.
And those exhibit numbers that we can see from that photograph, Exhibit 125, are
Item number 19 and item number 18.
and State's Exhibit 126.
That's a closer up view of it.
And 127,
You can see the casing.
Exhibit number 18,
That's correct.
and 128. Describe that.
A close-up shot of number 18, another casing.
Exhibit bounce back. Exhibit 129,
That's item number 19, another casing. Just another close-up shot of it.
thank you. And Exhibit 130, I was on 130, that's a close-up of it, thank you. Exhibit 131,
Additional items that we've found. That's still the west side.
and are we looking down toward the south or toward the north at this point?
You're looking down towards the south. See where the little metal gate fencing is? That's where those 6 air conditioning units were.
And can you read from where you are the evidence marker numbers and generally what we're looking at?
I see 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24.
Thank you. Exhibit 132,
It's just another shot of the same items.
and 133,
You see items 20, 21, 22, and 23. Now we see the close-up of each item. So this is item number 20.
that's Exhibit 134. Excuse me. 135,
That's item number 21, another casing.
Exhibit number 136,
That's our evidence item number 22, another casing.
Exhibit 137,
And evidence item number 23, another casing.
130, it's bouncing back on me. Exhibit 138
That's evidence number 24.
and Exhibit 139.
You can see now the casing for number 24.
Would you describe for us what we're looking at now as Exhibit 140?
Okay, this is still the west wall, but now we're moving northward, okay? So those 6 ACs that you saw are on the far end of the picture. Now we're moving towards the north side.
And are you able to identify any of the evidence markers from where you're sitting?
I see number 25 and 26.
Exhibit 141. Uh-oh.
So now it's a more medium range shot of the items 25 and 26. Item 25, that is a casing.
And item 26.
That's an empty magazine, rifle magazine.
Indicating all the casings had been expanded.
There are no bullets in there.
Exhibit 144.
Item number 27, and an additional red flags.
Okay. So we're back over here to the southwest side, but once again, this evidence marker means that's when it was actually collected.
Yes, and you can see why we're going back and forth is because it's in grass, it was rainy that day. We were doing additional searches as we were going. So as we were taking pictures, somebody would say, oh, we found another one over here. So we would backtrack to where we were before.
Okay. So that's an additional casing on the southwest corner.
Yes,
And once again, the white car is in view there.
yes.
Exhibit 145.
A more medium range shot of 27. There's your,
And 146.
and that's the close-up of number 27, another casing.
147. Could you tell us what we're looking at here?
You can see a flag, but you can also see like a red biohazard garbage bag.
And is there a doorway there?
Yes,
Is that the west doorway into the fourth grade wing?
yes.
Okay. And what do we see here? In exhibit 148.
Evidence item number 28.
And a close-up of that.
There's actually a bullet. You can see the bullet that's still attached to the casing.
So this was also an unfired cartridge casing, is that correct?
Correct.
Just have a few more questions. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, sir.
Showing you State's Exhibit number 19, which is 20 envelopes, and ask you if you recognize your name as well as the description of the evidence.
Yes, my name is on them.
State offer Exhibit 19, Your Honor.
record, Special Exhibit 19 of the 20 fired LC-22 casings that you recovered at Robb Elementary that day. Is that correct?
Were there 20? I mean, I didn't count them.
That was unfair, wasn't it?
21?
21. Thank you for correcting me.
Mhm.
We offer as amended, Your Honor, 21 casings.
What's one exhibit, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's submitted 19.
Pass witness.
Tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it's a little afternoon, so I don't want to keep you too long from lunch. So let's take I don't think there's a whole lot of places to eat around here. So let's resume at they usually give an hour and a half. Let's make it 1:45. You can be back at 1:45. Please remember my instructions. Agent, you can step down. The rule has been invoked. You're familiar with that.
Yes.
Please don't discuss the case with anybody other than the lawyers until you're released from the subpoena. All right, we're recessed. Will everyone rise for the jury? We're going to let them get out first, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, please be seated in the courtroom. Members of the jury, when we recessed, the witness had been passed for cross-examination, so you may proceed when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Adrian.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Great.
Good. My name's Gary Hillier. We've not met before.
No.
You know that I'm one of the attorneys here representing Adrian.
Yes.
And you've testified before, right?
Yes.
Probably a lot of times.
Yes.
So you know that I have to ask you some questions.
Sure.
There are no trick questions. So if I tend to speak fast sometimes, if I am, please just say, hey, Gary, slow down, and I'll repeat my question.
Thank you.
Fair enough? Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I want to go back to the beginning, right, of your testimony. So you said that. So are you still in the San Antonio field office
Yes.
with the FBI?
Correct.
Right. And at the time you were doing a role, but your auxiliary role was evidence response,
Yes.
an evidence response team for the FBI.
That's correct.
And is that your current role still?
Yes, not so much anymore because I've been really busy,
Right.
but I'm still a member of the team, yes.
And you were the team lead back then.
I was the acting because our original team leader was out of the office at the time.
Acting team lead.
Yes.
Okay, cool. We'll talk about that in a minute. And before that, I think you said that you were a crime lab analyst for the Department of Public Safety.
Correct.
And was that at the lab in Austin?
No, it was a lab here in Corpus, actually.
Oh, so you worked down in Corpus?
Yes.
And I think that you said that your primary focus when you were doing that in Corpus was DNA analysis.
Correct.
And kind of that, I guess that kind of dovetails into one of your auxiliary roles now was the evidence collection.
Correct. Yes.
And it must inform how you go about your role now.
Correct.
Yeah. But let's talk about your time with your FBI forensics. So you said that you obviously went through the academy to become an agent.
Correct.
And then you had additional training. Is that fair to say in the crime scene investigation?
Yes.
And did I hear correctly? You said it was a 2-week course?
It starts with 2 weeks to get certified, And then throughout the years, you'll get ongoing, education.
Right.
But yeah, it starts with 2 weeks, yes.
So 2 weeks to start off with, and then you get continuing education and experience in that.
Of course, yes.
And I guess by the time of this incident, you've been doing that for 10 years.
From what you're talking about, my crime scene experience?
Yeah.
It started in 1994 to 2022. So that's, my math, 30 something years, 28 years?
Oh, that's a lot of experience. So I appreciate that. So with the Bureau, from 2012, you've been with the Bureau?
No, I've been in the San Antonio division since 2012.
So
I've been an agent since 2004.
Right, okay,
Yes.
that makes sense. And 10 years before that was with the DPS?
Yes.
Right,
yes.
okay, that because the numbers weren't adding up.
Okay.
I get it. So, you said one of the roles that you do, and well, you were an acting team leader at the time of this incident.
Yes, there's a team lead for every crime scene, right? So at that time, I was the acting team because our most senior team leader was gone.
All right, so that's a yes, right?
Yes.
So how many people were in your team?
Our office is pretty big, right? So we have a team up in Austin, we have a team out in McAllen,
Right.
and then we have a team in San Antonio. And so I can't even venture to get, I don't even know how many people are on the team.
Well, no, let me, maybe that's the way I asked that was different. So how many people were on your team at this time?
During the initial response, if I remember correctly, and forgive me, this is 2022, there was probably around 8 to 10.
Yeah, an approximate number is okay. I'm not trying to tie you to
Yeah.
a specific number. Like, so it's not 200. It's 8 to 10 people are on your team.
About that time, yes.
Yeah, because we'll talk about it in time. But some of the search techniques you're talking about, doing line searches and stuff, that is, you need a lot of people to do that effectively.
Sure, the more people, the better.
The more people, the better, because it's detailed and it's intensive work, right?
It's detailed, yes.
Yeah. So there's 8 to 10 people around, right, in your team. And you were supervising this team as an acting lead because the lead was out for whatever reason, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what reason they're out for, but they were out. You were in charge for that time period.
We had other individuals come in from other offices to shore up the number of people that we had initially.
Right.
So in the beginning, the first day, it was a little tougher because we only had so many people.
Right.
But then we had people also come in from the valley, so that's a longer drive. So we had more people later.
So more
Yes.
people came to assist in your crime scene investigation later on.
Sure. Yes.
Right, okay. So I'm still trying to talk about your experience and your training right now. So you said that you did, you got some training and experience in crime scene reconstruction.
Yes.
Is that correct? Now, the jury's not heard any testimony about that. Do you use any scanners such as a Leica scan when you recreate crime scenes?
No, so you got to understand when I first started, it was in 1994, right? So the technology was more basic back then. So a lot of it is just more rudimentary, right? When I was with DPS, that's when I got the bulk of my crime scene reconstruction training.
Right.
We were doing everything with just 1 or 2 or 3 people in the lab, right? Most of our crime scenes were done with just a few people. Now that I'm with the FBI, everything's more specialized. We have more people, more resources. And so there will be somebody doing certain techniques. Other people would do certain techniques. Back then, when I first got my crime scene reconstruction training, it wouldn't be strange for an analyst to go and do the photograph themselves, then do the evidence collection, then do the lab work, and then write the report, everything from beginning to end. But we don't do that anymore.
Okay.
I don't do that anymore.
No, and I wasn't suggesting you do. I'm just talking about some of the techniques because my next question was based on whether or not you Leica trained. Was a Leica scan used in this case?
I don't think so. No, not by us.
Not by you.
We were asked to do one thing.
Yeah, and so what I want to do is explain what a Leica scan is. There is technology out there, and I understand your testimony to the jury is that when you did your training, the technology was a bit more, I think, and the techniques were a bit more rudimentary. Is that fair to say? And obviously now you know that law enforcement has access to some devices, and one of them is called a Leica scan, which is a scanning tool that surveyors use, and they use it in construction, right?
We have surveying, so we did a total station scan.
Right.
And we also have scanning equipment that we have, and we did a total station of the whole scene.
Right, okay, so you did a scan in this case.
Yes, like a survey, a measurement.
So it's kind of like a Leica, it's slightly different. It would be, you're a man move around.
Sure.
May I move around the world?
Sure.
So a Leica scan would be, or a total station is something you put on a podium or a plinth or something like this thing here.
Yes.
An easel, it's not an easel, but you put it on something and it will scan an area, correct?
Yes.
And it will identify where things are
Yes.
and it will note that. And then you put it into a computer system and later on it will print something out and it will be a map showing where all the evidence is.
Correct, correct.
And so a total scan was done in this case, right?
Total station, yes.
Total station, which is,
Similar.
it's not a Leica. Leica's probably like a brand name.
Yes.
It's the same sort of thing. And that is, it creates a document and it shows where things are after you've marked it, right?
Yes, yes. that's
Yeah.
correct.
And okay, so you did use that in this case.
Yes.
All right, good. We'll talk about that in a minute. So one of the things you also spoke about is, I guess when you process a lot of these scenes, is you're looking for evidence of firearms
Yes.
and ammunition.
Yes, correct.
And it sounds like in this case, well, in this case you'd agree with me, your focus was mostly on spent ammunition,
That's correct.
right? And documenting that.
Yes.
Right, okay. Because I think you said something along the lines of you can glean, and this is where your previous experience comes in, right?
Mhm.
You can glean a lot of evidence from a used cartridge, right?
Yes.
And sometimes that could be in your other focus previously it would be DNA,
Sure.
right? Not so much in this case because we know who shot that gun, right?
That's correct.
Right, because the person who did this was already dead by the time you came and investigated.
That's correct.
Right, so in this case you weren't investigating a suspect as such.
That's correct.
You were just documenting the scene and for investigatory purposes.
Yes.
So in this case, it's slightly different to others where you're not worried about contamination as much because you're not worried about DNA being washed off of anything.
No, we weren't concerned about DNA.
No, and so that will change how you deal with things slightly, right?
Yes.
Because if you were concerned about DNA, which you weren't, right, hypothetically, there'd be more urgency to do this now, right? To collect it immediately or as fast as possible.
Well, we weren't under any time constraints, right? We still have to go through our process. Long range shot, medium range shot, close up shot. You mark it, you pick it up, you do another close up shot of it. So we weren't under any time constraints.
That's what I mean. So that's what I mean. You weren't under any time constraints because you didn't have the urgency to preserve DNA evidence as such as you would in other cases.
DNA is very stable. Depending on the environment, DNA could last a long time, right?
Okay.
So, but we didn't have that consideration in our minds.
Exactly. So you wouldn't, DNA is stable sometimes. It's funny, you'll hear different people testify to different things about
Yeah.
DNA and how stable it is. But you wouldn't want to get washed off of an object.
No, correct.
No. So anyway, so in this case, your role was to come and document the scene.
Yes, outside. Outside the school, not inside.
And as outside. Yeah, because where I'm going with thank you, Jason, with that is because the next day it rained. This happened on the 24th, the next day, well, it rained overnight, I should say.
I think it rained that evening.
Yeah.
Because we were in the middle of doing this, and I remember it raining. So I think it was that evening.
We can look at it. I think one of the state's photographs they introduced, you can see this as some inclement weather. So, normally that would inform how urgent you are with recovering stuff. But you were doing outside, right?
We were just doing the outside. That's correct.
And so the DNA thing, despite the DNA thing, the shell casings can reveal other things. And Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to use states very briefly. I think it's demonstrative 2 again. Bring this over. Because, so, I know you've already explained that, and I think it states 19. How does it feel? Is it 19? Yeah, 19's the shell casings, right?
Yes.
And these are the ones that you recovered from the scene.
Correct.
Without going into the packets. And the shell casing, the jury's heard evidence about this before, is just the cartridge. That's the shell casing,
Yes.
right? The projectile gets shot out the barrel, and this cartridge gets ejected out of the weapon,
That's correct.
right? And so, and I think the testimony earlier was that when a weapon recycles, or a firearm is fired,
Mhm.
the firearm pin goes forward, strikes the primer,
Yes.
right? Very fast burn, some people call it an explosion,
Mhm.
happens, and the projectile gets fired out the barrel,
Correct.
right? Because of the action of the weapon, it recycles, and the bolt action of the rifle or the weapon brings this cartridge back and it gets ejected out of the weapon.
Correct.
And like you said, we know that with a long weapon, it's to the right-hand side.
Yes.
And it can, how far that projectile or that spent casing could be thrown can depend on a couple of things.
Yes, like where it ends up could depend on a lot of different
It
things.
depends on a lot of things. And so, and what I'm saying is you can find evidence on this casing of tool mark. You're familiar with tool mark analysis, right?
Yes.
And so one of those things is the markings. Tool mark analysis, you'd agree, is the markings that are left on, in this instance, the casing by the metal inside that weapon.
Okay,
Right?
so
roughly speaking.
roughly speaking,
Roughly speaking.
yes.
Without getting too deep into the science.
Yes.
Roughly speaking. Because there will be, the firing pin will leave an individual characteristic.
An indentation on the primer.
Indentation,
Yes.
because each firing, it's like a fingerprint for a weapon. Kind of.
Not so much with the firing pin, but
The totality of
Yes,
it.
yes.
Because the firing pin will some weapons they'll fire and strike in the same place, and also you'll find some markings that are similar on the cartridge from where the round is getting stripped and spent and shot out of the weapon by the ejector claw or pin.
You could, yes.
And that will, so depending on the configuration of that weapon is one of the factors when how far and where that spent cartridge goes, right?
Sure.
Right. And so, I appreciate it. Do you want to just go that for a second? I mean, like I said, there's lots of variables that can affect that, and I guess certain batches of ammunition can be different from others, right? And so,
Sure.
and that can affect how far a spent cartridge goes, right?
Yes.
But when it comes down to it, you testified that, you know, case location is mostly an educated guess. Is that, would you agree with that?
Depending, yeah, because there's a lot of variables. I
Yeah,
mean,
because of the variables.
Yeah.
And I should say where the case comes to rest is mostly a guess.
It's like an approximation. It's kind of like an educated guess, right?
An educated guess. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I mean, that's what you said. I'm just using your testimony. You said you can guess how and where the shooter is.
Educated guess. yeah.
Educated. Well, I agree with you. An educated
Yeah.
guess. And it would depend on lots of factors, like you said. And
Sure.
if you're standing on concrete and a round gets expelled, the cartridge gets expelled, it can bounce,
It can bounce.
it can spin,
Sure.
and it will move,
Sure.
right? And if you're firing on grass, maybe it will stand still. It will just drop and sit still.
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Right, and it's a guess, but you'd agree with me that the grouping of where these rounds end up, when I say rounds, I should say casings.
Casings.
A specific grouping of casings on the ground or on the floor is an indication, the best indication we've got of where the shooter was at the time.
That's a good indicator because it's consistent that, okay, why are all these in the same kind of location?
Yep, and I think you said the shooter is around that radius, is that correct?
Sure.
Right. So I want to talk to you about your work in this scene, if we
Okay.
can. So we've already said that you were the team lead, and I think you said when you first started doing this, did you say you had eight people assisting you?
I think around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll talk about the actual mechanics of your search in a second. But would it be fair to say that you go to a location, you speak to whoever's in charge, and they give you some parameters and instructions on what to search for,
Sure.
and you do a visual search,
Yes.
and then you'll do a physical search, right?
Yes.
And then while you're doing that, you flag. Is that correct?
Anything out of the ordinary, you would put a marker, you would flag it so you can come back to it later.
Yeah, and you know if I may move, Judge?
Yes.
So and when you say you do a line search, you did a line search in this case, right?
Correct.
And so when you're doing it on concrete, would it be fair to say that someone is in the middle, that's probably the leader?
No, it can be anywhere.
All right, anyone. So you will have a line, correct?
Yes.
And you'll stand line abreast. And you'll advance along a certain area.
Yes.
And I guess on concrete, you're probably standing,
Yes.
right? And when you're moving onto grass, you're probably on your knees, right?
No, we're standing.
Standing all the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've done that where you're kneeling, it's hard work.
You can do that too, depending on the surface that you're dealing with.
Yeah, depending on, because on grass, things might not be as obvious as they are when you're standing, right?
Correct.
Especially if you've got bad eyesight. Right, so you do a line search. Okay, so you do a search. And so when, like you said, you see something out of the ordinary, here you're looking for spent shells, you'll put like a flag down.
Yes.
Because and the reason I ask that is because there's we can see in the state's evidence there's little red flags.
Yes.
And then there's a number card placed next to some of them.
Yes.
Right. And so these are two separate processes, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So first you walk your area. And I believe, Judge, may I approach again? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Let me use the state's demonstrative so we can just confirm this. I think that you said that this is the, obviously we know what we're looking at here. You started your search over by this area here on the left.
That's fenced off.
Yep.
So we actually started on the grass side of that.
On the inside of it.
Yes.
So your line search would be inside this fence area here that I'm indicating
Yes.
on the demonstrative, advancing across the grass area towards the parking lot, right?
Yes.
And so as you're going across there, you're putting red flags or whatever colour they are. They're red in this case.
If you see something.
If you see something,
Yes.
because obviously you wouldn't do it if you didn't see something.
That's correct.
So and there's 8 of you doing that. What's up?
We started with 8, but we enlisted other people's help, whoever was standing around to help. So I don't know how many people really.
Yeah.
But we started with 8.
And I didn't mean to talk over you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to tie you down to a specific number.
I understand.
Because this is a big area, right? We can agree on that.
Sure.
That's a big scene to go over.
No, that's correct. It was big.
So it's very detailed work.
Yes.
Right? So you're walking slowly across here. Anyone sees anything, they put a red flag.
Correct.
Okay, and then you've done that, advanced all the way to the building.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you've done that, you then place markers down on significant items.
When you're about to pick up the evidence, if it's something that you think is important. So the red flag just identifies what we need to look at again. The yellow marker with a number are actual items that we're going to collect. So in the beginning, you could have something that has a red flag on it, but upon closer inspection, that might not mean anything to you.
Right, so you'll put a flag down to see that's something of interest.
Yes.
Then you'll go back and you'll put if you're going to take a photograph of it, preserve it, then you put the card down.
With a number.
With
yes.
a number. And they're the yellow things with a number, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. And so you do that, and then the next thing you do is you'll document it with photographs.
Correct.
And that's what you did in this case.
Yes.
And after having photographed the scene, you then will collect those items.
Yes.
Right. Because I wanted to look at some of these photographs. Can we publish some of these photographs? Publish them? Yeah, can you publish them for you? Would you better go to States 96 first? Could you go to 96 first, please, Clarkson? Yeah. No, it's not good.
Oh, he needs to know what exhibit number.
You're right.
I'll get a. Sorry, Judge, can I approach? Sorry, just do it anyway.
No, go ahead.
So,
No. He needs to know. They're not marked on there.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm going to put this map up again. So having established how your process, I want to look at some photographs here so we can see what we can deduce from the scene, right? So we're waiting for, I think the first picture we're going to look at has been previously marked as States Exhibit 96. So while we wait for the photo to be put up on the screen,
Okay.
can we show you what's been marked as States 96?
Yes.
Right, and so I'll show you. This is States 96. We're going to show it on the screen in a second. So you made a witness come down and mark on the demonstrative where this is located.
Yeah, is that in evidence or not?
This is, yeah. So they're both in evidence. Yeah. This has been admitted, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to mark on the
No,
the chart?
just to show. Can you
Okay.
show whereabouts on the diagram here this is oriented?
Okay, so in this picture, you'll see the AC behind the fence,
So it's here, right?
and it's right here.
So this would be fair. So there we go. I think that's it there, right?
Yes.
There we go. Cool.
Okay, can I see the picture?
So we'll wait till we get it up there. There you go. Right. Okay. So we are. So that you'd agree this is the southwest corner of the building, right?
Yes.
And I think that what we can see on the photograph there are these are AC units. You were there, right?
Yes.
And they're I don't know, they're big industrial ones, probably about 4 feet tall. Approximately.
I've seen bigger, but yes, they're big. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And so what we can see in the photograph here, if I approach, that's where we know it is, are during your search and your line search, somebody has identified with red flags evidence that needs to be recovered, right?
Yes.
And then 3, 4, and 5 are the numbers that they're given, and they're probably projectiles we're going to see next. And then in a similar area, right?
Yes.
So, and in the background we can see this thing that's been described as a pavilion, and we can see one police car. That's a police car. It's a white vehicle. You were there,
I
right?
think yes.
Yeah. But so if this, and again, we don't, depending on the weapon characteristics and the ammunition, we don't know how far away the person was who fired this, but it'd be fair to say that if these rounds are found here, these cartridges are found here, whoever fired them would be to the left of it somewhere, right?
Well, depends on like where you shoot, right? Because here you see the rounds sitting there. What if the person was shooting that direction and the ejection goes this way? Well, you don't know. I can't tell what
Okay.
direction
Well,
the
let's-
shooter was at.
Let's talk about that then.
Yeah.
So for them to be here,
Mhm.
right, the person would either have to be over here, to the left of it.
Can I stand up here for a
Of
quick?
course you can. If you judge about that, Judge.
Sure. So, if you have a round here, so the person could be pointing this way, or that way, or that way, or that way, as long as the ejection port, as long as this is to the side of it, right? So you can't tell just from looking at this what direction the person was facing. You understand what
I do. That's what I'm going to show you some more photographs. But let me get. So what my point was is, well, I want to talk about that first. Right?
Okay.
So I agree with you. You're correct. So the person who fires these rounds could be standing to the left of these cartridges, right? That's a possibility.
Yes.
And as you pointed out, the person who fired those rounds could also be firing them in that direction, up the side of the building.
Yes, I can't tell.
You can't tell. And they could, for them to be here, they could also be standing on here, firing them off into the distance that way.
Sure.
Right, that's possible. But this isn't the only photograph we took, right? So I want to look at some more. That's
Okay.
possible.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. So you look at 102 next, which is, I think, is a closer up version of that. Because Agent, one of the things, while we queue up the evidence, one of the things that we, one of the things that you testified to, this isn't an exact science, what we're talking about, the grouping of casings on the floor, right?
It's not exact.
It's not.
No.
So the best thing that you have is your educated guess.
Yes, if you look at, you have to look at the whole scene.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but what I'm saying is your educated guess is informed by the characteristics of the weapon, right, and the ammunition it's using, right?
Yes.
And also by the grouping of these cartridges on the floor.
That's part of it, yes.
Yeah, and it's because, I mean, I guess someone could have, did you know if anyone testified this weapon?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Because, for example, it is possible, and it does happen, right? You'd agree that sometimes these weapons that are found at scenes are test-fired?
Yes, if you're going to do ballistics, you have to test fire the weapon.
For ballistic analysis, that's right. But in this case, it could be, if somebody wanted to get a more informed, educated guess, this weapon could be fired and the ejection of the cartridges could be measured, right? Based on this weapon, because the weapon has individual characteristics, right?
Yes.
And there's class and individual characteristics when we're talking about firearms tool marks, right?
Yes.
Without going into that, an individual characteristic is this thing, from my approach, is where the ejector leaves a mark on the shell casing, right?
Yes.
So as this casing comes back, it will get ejected out of the weapon, whether it's a handgun or a long weapon, and the ejector will oftentimes leave the claw, or whatever you want to call it, will leave a mark on this, a tool mark on this shell.
It could.
It
Yes.
could, it could. Sometimes it does, and that
Yeah.
lets people look at that. And that specific ejector, claw, or hook, will influence the way the shells come out of that weapon,
It could.
right? So one thing that could be done, but it wasn't done, you didn't do it, right, because that wasn't your job.
Yeah, that's out of what I
I know it
out
wasn't,
of
but,
scope.
but it is outside the scope of what you were doing, because you were looking at the scene and preserving that. But somebody could later on have test-fired the weapon in a controlled environment, similar to this one, maybe on concrete, to see how far and where the rounds were flying after the weapon had been ejected in the cartridge. And just a second. Yeah, and so which one is this? This is 102. Right, and this is 102. And Judge, may I approach the TV again? So this is a different angle, and I guess, Agent, here, just if I can orient you on this big map here, Agent over here, is, will you agree with me, we're looking at this area, like kind of parallel to the south of the building.
Yes, along the AC units.
Yeah, and because we can see the AC units here.
Yes.
Right, we can see the AC units here. We've got a flag, a red flag, if somebody's walked and placed something of interest, and a shell. The shell casing is number 6, right?
Correct.
So what somebody couldn't be doing is that they can't be firing that way and the round going to the left of them, right? That's not the way that firearm works.
No, the ejection ports are on the right side.
Yeah. So either they're firing this way and it's going out to the right, is that right? Or they're somewhere to the left of this and it's being ejected to the right.
Well, you can't tell because somebody could be standing to the left of the shell and fire that way, or they could be standing to the.
They could be standing somewhere in this. This is a parking lot to the left here, right?
Yes. Looking at the shell itself, you can't tell what direction the person was shooting. You would have to look at the entire scene in total.
And you'd look at the groupings, right?
That's part of it. That goes
part.
into the equation. Yes.
Because we weren't there, right? So we don't know.
Yes.
So all we can do is follow the evidential trail and make deductions from it.
Sure.
Right. Okay. So what we're seeing here is we're looking down this path, this pathway that goes around the south of the building. You agree with that?
Yes.
And here on the top left-hand side of the photograph, we see these AC units.
Yes.
Right. So it is possible that the person who fired this shot, this expended cartridge, was in this parking lot somewhere. right?
That's a long ways for it to eject.
Well-
The parking lot is pretty far away from where that sidewalk is.
Remember what we said, but what is this thing here that's, what is this made of here? This
That's concrete.
that's concrete.
Yes.
So if an expended cartridge bounces on grass, what will it do probably?
It'll probably stay in the grass.
If something lands on concrete, what's an ejected cartridge possibly going to do?
It could bounce,
It
it
could
could
bounce.
roll, or it could stay where it's at,
It
depending.
It could bounce, it could roll, it could spin, right?
Sure.
It could keep traveling. Right?
Yes.
Can we look at 107, please? So what we're looking at now, Agent, is states 112, sorry. Right? You
Yes.
got that one? Okay, and so just to orient ourselves on this, the map here, this is the same view as the last one, but further away, right?
Yeah, that helps, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a further back view, because you do like long range, medium range, then close, then super close, right?
Yes, it gives you a different perspective.
So this, I'm going to show you, I'll hand you the photograph here. You can see that there's multiple red flags with evidence being collected, right?
Yes.
Up here. So again, you'd agree this is kind of an indication this is a group of where the spent cases are,
Yes.
right? And again, it's not an exact science where the weapon was fired, but it's an indication.
Yes.
And you'd agree with me that these spent cartridges, well, how many do you see? One, probably 6, 7 in that photograph, right?
Yes.
Are all in a line just on the edge of this paved concrete parking lot.
Yes.
You'd agree with that, right?
Yes, of course.
So one of the things that we can deduce from this photograph is if we're looking at this, is that the shooter could be to the left of that.
Sure.
Right. We don't know how far because we haven't testified the weapon. We don't know anything about the power of the ammunition other than what rating it is. So it's possible they're on the left-hand side, right?
Correct.
So this would be consistent, or this could corroborate evidence that the person might be to the left-hand side of this SUV here, right?
I wouldn't say, I mean, there's somewhere, but to me, it looks like they could be behind the SUV. I don't know if they're to the left of the SUV.
Yeah, okay, so they could be behind the SUV, so if
Yeah.
you say the SUV is here, around here somewhere, right?
Sure.
Yeah. They could also be to the left of it, maybe,
Maybe.
depending. If we, and again, like I said, we don't know, but if there had been, the weapon had been testified, we could have a better educated guess of where that rounds would have been fired from, right?
Sure.
Right. Yeah. And by the same token, what it can't be based off this evidence, right? Where the shooter cannot be based upon where the breadcrumbs, if you like, of evidence are, the trail of evidence are, is to the right-hand side of these rounds. Because the cartridge, I didn't mean to give you more back, I'm sorry, gets ejected to the right,
Yeah.
correct?
So if you look at the totality of this, and the broken glass is over there where the windows are broken and shot through,
Yep.
then chances are the shooter's on the left side because the rounds are getting ejected out the right of the weapon.
So let's talk about that for a second. That's interesting. So, and what you're alluding to is we'll look at a different photograph, but I want to pick up on that. I appreciate that, Adrian. So when you're saying broken glass, you're talking about on this side of the building.
You look
Right.
at the entire picture,
Yep.
and so in order to get a better picture of where these rounds could have been shot in what direction, if there's no bullet holes or bullet damage on the, like where the white car is, then you can generally assume that it's not being shot in that direction. But if you're looking at these bullets and you see the broken glass, then I'm not saying that that's exactly how it happened, but you kind of can deduce this could be the track that he was going towards the school, shooting at the school.
And I appreciate that, Agent. We're going to talk about all of it. If I could just bring your attention back to the map here.
Mhm.
So let's talk about that, because there was a lot that you just said then, right? I want
Yes.
to talk about it. It's important. So you said we've got. I agree. We hear in law enforcement. We hear the phrase, or you hear the phrase in criminal investigations, totality of circumstances, right?
Sure.
And I agree. We've got to look at the totality of the evidence. And I agree with you that the indication is from your evidence is that, and the broken windows that we saw in some of the other state's exhibits, we can look at those, but the jury's already seen those. There are broken windows on the west side of this building
Yes.
that appear to have been shot out by a round, which is possibly by these spent cartridges, right?
Sure.
And that's all along this building. So I agree with you that this is more of an indication of rounds that have been shot into this building, right? What we're seeing on that physical evidence up there that's been admitted.
You can't say for sure, but the indication looks like that could be, yes.
And that's 112. State's Exhibit 112. I don't,
Is that 112?
yeah, I think
Yes.
so, yeah. And because, like you said, there is no physical evidence that you found over here towards this area here, the pavilion, or these vehicles, right?
Correct.
And because I wanted to talk to you about that next, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. You said that you did you did several line searches, right?
Yes.
Because I guess that, is it the case that whoever is you, the team leader, or someone else, devises a search plan,
Yes.
and you'll say, we're going to search from west to the school first, right?
Yes.
Maybe with the boundary on here, and then maybe you'll break up another sector later,
Yes.
and then you'll define that search area, and then you'll keep breaking it up into sectors.
Yes.
And like I said, that's what it's kind of painstaking,
It is.
because you have to walk slowly, maybe like that, looking at the ground, keep it in line with everyone,
Yes, correct.
so that nobody misses anything. If someone sees something, we stop.
Yes.
Someone gets a flag, you flag it.
Yes.
Okay, then we keep moving.
Yes.
And you keep doing that. And in fact, I think the testimony was that you did it from sort of like Grove along Geraldine to the school, right? First.
Well, the fence line
The
and
fence
the
line.
grass.
Got it. The
Yeah.
fence line is here inside this culvert, but
Yes.
the fence line here. But then you also did it from the south north, right?
Yes.
And you did it. Did you go left to right, from north, south to north, and left to right?
We did so many directions, and we did it multiple times. Because after you do a search, you think, okay, we just did a line search. But then somebody will walk by and go, oh, there's another round.
Yeah.
So now we have to do it again.
Right.
So we did it multiple times.
So you did it multiple times.
Yeah.
You did it multiple times, but you didn't find any evidence of any shells being fired over here to the south of the building.
No.
No evidence at all.
That we saw, no.
The only evidence that you found of any shells being fired or a weapon being fired was consistent with it being fired into that building, right?
When we looked at it, now when we were on the back side, can I show the,
Yes, sir.
okay, so if you take a look at the building where the windows were shot out, that's the west side. The east side of that building, there's some broken windows too. But when we went, we didn't see any shells, right? But we saw the bullet holes.
Okay, cool. I'm going to put a different picture up so we can get a visual on that. Yeah. Um, 86. Can we put 86 on? Because that's important what you're saying, Agent. I want to talk about that because you actually found some, Agent. If I could bring your attention to this, you actually found a couple of non-spent cartridges, right? A round of ammunition in a couple of places around.
Yeah, we found that too.
Found two, right?
Two or three.
Two or three, and you, while we wait for the picture to come up, you'd agree that they appear to be different,
Correct.
right? So these ones are all just, the ones we've got here that you took the photographs were just brass, and they were brass coloured.
Yes.
And I think the ones, there we go, we'll look at this in a second. The other ones they were a black jacket.
Only one of them was.
One of them was a black jacket, so
Yes.
it indicates slightly different brand, right?
Yes.
And can you show the jury again where you found that on the map? Please?
Okay.
Judge, can you bring this approach?
So item 14 was found in this, around this area along the sidewalk.
Yep.
Item 15 was found around this part of the funeral home. There's a parking lot here. It was found in the grass around this area.
Okay, I appreciate it. So, and these, which one, do you remember which one was the black jacketed round?
I don't remember. I have to take a look, but I
Well, one of them was different. That's
Yeah.
fine. So, and I wanted to look at this approach to the television again. So, because this gives a better overview. This is, so you were saying this is the west side of the building, right?
Yes.
Okay, and this is the building in question. And so, would it be correct to say that where I'm indicating now is the east side?
Yes.
And so, you found what? Would you describe it as a defect or just a broken window?
We thought there were bullet holes.
Bullet holes.
Yeah.
So, it could be a couple of things, right, going on there,
Yeah.
because we don't know. But it could be with this kind of ammunition that what is consistent, I don't need to give you my back, is that you said that this is the same parking lot we're talking about, right?
Yes.
And you didn't find any evidence of any rounds being fired over here towards the south.
Yes.
But I don't need to give you my back, right?
That's okay.
But it could be over penetration, a round being fired from the west coming out the east.
It could be. I thought that there's a hallway
Yeah.
in between, and doors and walls. So to me, I don't know if that would be, from this side.
Or could be fired inside.
Or it could be, sure.
It could be that. I mean, we don't know, but that ammunition is certainly powerful enough to penetrate a building, right? If it goes through glass, it could certainly penetrate that whole building. Possibly.
Possibly.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But it could certainly penetrate from inside out.
I didn't go into the building at that point.
Because you did outside, right?
Yes.
And I guess I haven't asked you yet, but you searched this courtyard area here, right?
Yes.
And you didn't find any evidence of any firing outside there.
We didn't know.
So when I say evidence of firing, I guess we'd be looking at like the spent casing again.
If I remember correctly, yes. No,
Yeah.
none of the cases. We saw bullet holes in the window.
Right. So one of the last questions I want to ask you is after we spoke, you just I want to pick up what you said about there, about the rounds that have possibly been fired inside that building. Did you do any kind of trajectory analysis?
We didn't do trajectory, no.
You didn't? Because trajectory analysis would inform us to know by finding where a defect, so let's talk about a defect. A defect is where, or an apparent defect is the terminology that you would use to say this is apparently a hole or damage that could have come from a fired weapon, right?
Yeah, we didn't have access to the inside of the building, so that limited what we could do. And so we only looked for the evidence on the outside.
I
That's it.
know you did, but what I'm saying is to fully inform us to say, hey, these holes in this window go to this hole somewhere else would be to do a trajectory analysis.
That would help.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like
It could
wheel
help.
path analysis where you would, it's almost like geometry, finding where the hole is and you backtrack to see where the round could have been fired from.
Sure.
But that wasn't done,
I don't know.
because that wasn't your remit.
No.
But what we do know is that there were no spent shell casings found on the south of that building, right?
Yeah, we didn't find anything on that side.
Oh.
Or I think the east and the south.
And you didn't find any in the field from the line search from the culvert inside the fence towards the building, right? Let's look at the other map.
So if you're talking about the field between,
This one here, that I'm
Yes.
indicating here.
no, we didn't find.
You didn't find any
anything
there?
there.
No, you didn't find any on the way here. They were just focused on this parking lot, and you didn't find any on the south, right?
Correct,
Just to confirm.
Yes.
Thanks, Agent. I appreciate it. Got no further questions for us witness.
Agent, I don't know if I need to show you the picture. I will if I need to. Your testimony was, I believe, that exhibit number 6, casing number 6, seemed too far to be from the parking lot. There was one exhibit that you said that.
Looking at that perspective, I mean, I couldn't see the parking lot from that picture, but if you look at it this perspective, I can see that, you know, it could be. It's just a matter of perspective. I need to take a look at all the pictures together.
Maybe if you took a look back, can you tell us where Exhibit 6 was on that photograph? About?
Somewhere around here, there's a metal plate in the sidewalk. And so here's the parking lot. The ground was somewhere around here. You know, if the person, I mean, if you're saying, if you're tying this to the broken window, because you got to look at the totality of everything. If you're thinking that maybe the guy was shooting here, or somebody was standing here for the round to be there, it's a little bit difficult.
Okay. May I approach her?
Sir.
So if, my understanding is you have casings along here all the way up to here, is that correct?
I think so, yes.
And I'm not talking about direction because you said we're not saying 1 through 6.
Yeah.
I'm saying from here all the way up to here somewhere.
Yes.
Is that correct? And those can be shot, and it helps you a little bit if you know where the bullet ends up, right?
Yes.
I mean, if I'm shooting this way, then if it ejects right, the casing will be
I
there.
object to leading judge.
Is that?
Sustain, to rephrase it.
Could you tell us how the impact the bullet has on an object helps you place where a casing is?
Yeah, it sort of gives you a line, right? Because in order to have a line, what do you need? 2 points, right? So if you have a point of impact and you have a casing, you can use that to approximate, hey, that's your 2 points to make a line. What direction was the shot being taken, okay?
And if a shot is being fired into an open field,
Yeah, that's a lot more difficult because now you don't know because you're not going to have an impact. So how do you know where the direction is where the shot's being taken? You only have the location of your casing. Where's your other point to see where it went?
so if we have impacts in the windows and we have casings along here, that can help you. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
If you have casings here, does that tell you if the impacts in the windows came from those casings, or if those casings could be a result of firing into a field?
Well, you don't know, but your best guess would be that it was being shot into the window because you have a broken window.
If you have casings over here, would they explain the broken window?
Sure.
If they explain the broken window, then these casings could be fired into an open field.
They could.
And if you have impact over here, could that also tell you what direction he was shooting?
Sure, because now you have 2 points, right? You have your casing and you have an impact spot. 2 points can make a line.
But you didn't look for impact points, you looked for casings.
We were looking for casings. We didn't have much access to the school itself, so we tried to stay out of the Rangers' way. Texas Rangers were the lead agency.
So Brent, the Texas Rangers would be looking for impact along these other windows.
They had access to all the buildings.
Or other, I said windows, but I mean other buildings, parts of buildings, they would look
Yeah.
for those.
They had access to the buildings. We were focused on the field and on the grass and outside.
Sure. And so casings plus impact would give you a better decision as to where those bullets were going.
Sure.
And that sometimes takes not just your testimony, but somebody else's.
Sure.
And the one thing, though, about these 21 casings, can you tell us, does that indicate to you there's been 21 explosions?
Those are the casings we found.
That means a fired bullet, correct?
Mhm.
Which makes a sound
Yes.
and alerts law enforcement.
So 21 casings means there were at least 21 shots because there could be more. I mean, if we didn't find it, then we don't have it, right?
Right.
But 21 casings means there was 21 shots at least.
Okay. And you've been around gunshots?
Sure?
Audible?
I'll be object to leading judge.
Are they audible?
Overruled.
Yes.
Pass the witness.
If I may, very briefly, Agent. Judge, my approach.
Yes.
Very briefly. So I think you said that So we're looking at state 6, right? I think, well, we're not. We're looking at let's look at what we've got here. So your testimony is that your best guess is that these casings that were found to the southwest side of this parking lot here were fired into this building based on the evidence, right?
My best guess is that because there was a trail of casings, that the person was going that direction. Now, if you look at the whole scene, if you see impacts, then you gotta say, okay, where am I gonna attribute that to? Where can I attribute it to? What are the possibilities, right? And so that could be a possibility, yes.
Because you're just one piece of this whole part. Like Mr. Turner said, your testimony is going to, the jury's going to put it together with others. Because we know that unfortunately, eventually, the shooter enters this doorway here. You know that, right?
I learned that later, yes.
Yeah. So you know that.
Yes.
So it's possible this person is traveling, shooting these windows before he enters through that door, right?
Sure.
Okay. And so the prosecutor talked to you about this walkway here, right? Do you know the distance between roughly, I don't mean to give you my back, Adrian, between the end of the building and that walkway?
Not off the top of my
You
head,
don't?
no.
Okay, we did, no. Can
But,
you give me an estimate?
looking at that, okay, if you take a look at the length of the cars are probably about 15, 20 feet, depending on the, so maybe about, where, how far to where?
The end of the building to this walkway here.
Okay, so it's about the length of a car, maybe about 10, 15, 12 feet, something like that.
Okay, fair enough. And so I wanted to pick up on something. Do you want to find? I can do it from here. So hypothetically, right? The prosecutor was saying because you didn't have access to the buildings, right?
No.
So you didn't have any access to these buildings. The prosecutor talked about, if rounds went over here, right?
Yeah, good, yes.
I think he pointed to the top of the screen. I think that's what he did. So to know, let's pretend for a minute there was a round away from here. Without doing a trajectory analysis, I guess, that could have come from here, could have come from here. We just don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because, like we said, the best guess is that from your evidentiary examination of the scene and the clues that were left behind is that these rounds were fired into this building.
It could have been, yes.
And we also know you didn't find any evidence of shots being fired on the east side of the building, right?
That's correct.
But you found evidence of bullet holes either exiting or entering these windows here on the east, right?
There were bullet holes in the windows, yes.
In the windows. So you don't know if they're coming in or out from the building, right?
That's correct.
But what we do know is you didn't find any evidence of shots being fired in.
That's correct.
So we could possibly deduce from that shots are being fired out, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so if rounds are being fired from inside this building, they could be going anywhere, right?
Sure. I was not in the building.
Right. From my approach again, Jeff. So my last question to you is, so on this overview, we can agree that, roughly speaking, most of the shell cases were found along this border of the parking lot.
I don't remember if it's most,
A lot.
because there were quite a few along the windows.
There was, yeah, you're right. They're right. There were quite a few under these windows.
Yes.
Because you probably didn't recover everything that was fired because you did it outside, right?
We recovered whatever casings we found on the outsides. We recovered.
And a lot of them were close up to the building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was, roughly speaking, a group of casings on the south end of this parking lot.
Yeah. So out of the 21, I think there were about 6 or 7 from there, somewhere around there.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. Yep. So what we do know is that your best guess is they're fired into this building here.
Well, based on the broken windows,
Yeah.
but that's, I don't have any more information than what I saw there at that point.
But you didn't find any spent cartridges to the right of this parking lot, did you? Further down to the south.
No, I don't think we found anything further south.
You found nothing further south of
Yeah.
this. Nothing further south of this at all.
I don't think so.
All right. So the cartridges that are found in this parking lot cannot be the result of someone firing that way further south, right? Because that's not that.
Can you
would be-
rephrase that?
So this is where your 6 or 7, I think you said,
Yes.
spent cartridges were found in a rough group down here.
Correct.
And a rough group is going to give you an indication, of where the shooter was, right?
Yes.
And it's generally to the right hand side of where the shooter was.
Generally, yes.
Generally the shells are generally to the right hand side of where the shooter was.
Yes.
Right? So if the shells are here, and your best guess is that they've been fired into these windows because of the defects and the holes in the windows,
Sure.
right? Then those shells can't be the result of someone firing further to the right, because you would have found shell casings further to the right, correct?
So
Further south?
I can't tell where all of the shots went. Correct, right? I can't tell that. But I don't even know how many bullet holes went into the window, right? So out of those 7 shots, I can't give you a number of how many were shot towards the window, or I can't rule out either if any were shot out. All I can say is we saw casings and we saw broken windows. So you have to be limited to what you can say, right? I can't just make the leap and say, well, there were 3 shot this way and 3 shot that way, and I don't know. So we have to be measured a little bit in what we can say. So we have a grouping of casings, and we have broken windows. Basically, that's about what we can say. With what my role was, I was not able to see inside the building. To go inside the building and see, okay, let's count how many impacts hit the wall, right? So I don't know.
So Agent, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm kind of asking for a yes or no question. You
Yeah.
understand that, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So you said a lot there, so I'm going to ask you some more questions.
Sure.
Right? So it's yes or no, right? Okay. Your evidence you collected, in your professional opinion, it looks like there's a group of spent cartridges at the bottom end, the south end of this parking lot. Right?
Yes.
That's a yes. And so your best guess based on this evidence is that those rounds were fired into these buildings.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
Most likely, because maybe it was me. I wasn't asking you where the rounds went.
Okay.
I wasn't asking that. I was asking where the cartridges landed, because we can agree that when someone fires a weapon, it's a right-handed weapon. In this case, right, I don't mean to point at you. The shell casing gets ejected to the right-hand side.
Yes.
Right? So if somebody is firing a weapon, let's say down here, to the south here, it's most likely, based on physics and what we know about firearms, that the cartridge is going to get ejected to the right-hand side to where I'm standing, somewhere around there.
Yeah, because the ejection port's on the right.
Because the ejection port's on the right,
Mhm.
and the ejector claw's on the right, and it pings the cartridge out. So you'd have found, if somebody was standing here, let's say where I'm indicating here to the south of the building, we would expect to find evidence to the right-hand side of it, further south. Maybe.
Yeah,
right?
could be.
And you didn't.
Correct.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, sir, please. I'd like to focus on just one cartridge casing,
Okay.
the one you found the farthest north,
The one on the sidewalk?
over by the parking lot.
Yes.
I think it's number 6, okay? Would you turn to, it'll be slide 19.
What exhibit is that?
19?
Slide 19 or exhibit 19?
Slide 19.
What, do you know what number that is? It's in evidence. It's in evidence.
Huh?
It's in evidence. Which one? What exhibit is it?
I'm sorry.
What exhibit number?
I think this is exhibit 102.
Okay.
And slide 19 shows the casing, correct?
Number 6. Out of number 6.
Casing number 6,
Yes.
correct? And I believe it's the same if you had a right
Ejecting weapon, then you have to be to the left and forward, in general terms of that, correct?
Depends on where the person's shooting.
If they're shooting if they're shooting this direction,
Mhm.
then they would have to be further up and to the left. If the ejection goes over your right shoulder, as he was speaking.
It doesn't go over your right shoulder, it goes out to the right.
Okay.
If you're holding if you're holding a gun like this, your ejection port's right here, to the right. So now it doesn't go backwards behind your shoulder, over your shoulder, right? It just goes to the side.
And they all go exactly perpendicular?
Well, it could be like a little bit, I wouldn't say exactly perpendicular, but generally speaking, out to the right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so if you're shooting straight down this line, it would be straight to the right, perpendicular. If you're shooting further to the right, then it would be going further back, right?
Well,
Okay.
okay,
Let's do it this way.
all right,
Let's do it this way. There's a casing here.
okay,
Can it land here if I'm shooting this direction?
sure,
Can it land there if I'm shooting this direction?
sure,
Can it land here if I'm shooting this direction?
yes,
Right?
yes,
And if there's no buildings in this direction, there's no way to tell if we're shooting that direction.
that's correct,
And if there is a defect on a building here, that tells us it could be where you're shooting.
yes,
And if there's defects here, you could be shooting there.
yes.
Which do you pick?
You just, I mean, you don't know, you can't say.
Could witnesses help?
Yes. Just from that, you can't tell, but when the totality, right? We both sides talked about it.
So we
The
want to
totality of it.
listen to witnesses.
Yes,
They can tell us where somebody's standing.
sure.
Pass the witness.
One question for my judge. May I approach?
Yes.
So, let's use questions as an example. If there's a shell case in there and I'm pointing that way, right? And the weapon ejects on the right-hand side, right? The shell casing is there. I can't be pointing that way, can I? If the shell casing is there.
Not if that shell casing came from that shot that you took from there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So, because there's no evidence on the south side of the building, we can deduce from that that no one was firing south of the building in that direction, possibly.
yes,
All right. Thank you. Pass the witness.
One last question. That's where the casing originally lands. Does foot traffic affect that?
if the foot traffic hits it, yes.
And was there foot traffic at Robb Elementary on May 24, 2022?
Oh, it was kind of crazy, yes.
Hundreds of officers,
There was quite a few, I've never seen that many before, at one time, yes.
and you don't get to cordon off the crime scene until after the crime's over.
That's correct.
So for as long as hours, there can be foot traffic from a number of officers.
I wouldn't say hours, because we got there kind of quick. Like an hour, it took us an hour and 15 to get there, to mobilize. Well, I guess hours, it means more than 2, yes. It could be, could be.
A couple of hours, that's fair enough. I'm not
Yes.
trying to stretch it, I just want to, okay. Pass the witness.
Anything else?
Very briefly, Judge. The prosecutor's talking about foot traffic, and I guess what we would call that contamination of a scene, right?
Sure.
I'm not suggesting that in this case because there were a lot of people there. And if I may approach the diagram, Judge, if I may very briefly. So there's a lot of foot traffic. We know there's 374 officers there at some point, right?
There was quite a few, yes.
Well, and there's lots of emergency responders, lots of people on this scene.
That's correct.
Right. So the prosecutor's talking about one shell casing.
Yes.
Right, one shell casing. But even with all this foot traffic and even this, I'm not suggesting the scene was disturbed, but let's go with the prosecutor's example, right? Because he wants to talk about it, I'll talk about it as well. Despite that, there are still no casings found on the south of this building.
Correct.
And it wouldn't be lined up like that, right? So it could, because sometimes the shell casings get stuck in people's boots,
Sure,
tyres,
sure,
right?
yeah.
Thanks, Adrian. Pass the witness.
That's all.
Recall is,
No, sir.
okay, sir, you're not subject to recall. The rule has been invoked in this case, so please don't talk about it until you know the trial's over with.
Thank you, sir.
Your next one is
State calls Lynn Deming.